Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Class. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have been teaching something and I'm muted. Now can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. See, displacement current. We took a straight piece of wire like this, in which there is a current I. The current I is carrying by this conductor. Now we took a point P. We took a point P like this. Now passing through point P, we drew an Amperian path, say in pink color M. Okay, the Amperian path is M. Now say from this wire, the point P is located at a distance R. Okay, maybe my distance R is not legible. Let me use some other color. So let me use blue. This is distance R. Okay. Now you consider a surface, the yellow shading you're seeing over here, the yellow shading, that is surface yes. Now the edges of the surface is like this amperium path m. Okay. Now what we can see at this juncture is the current I is intercepted by the surface yes. Okay. So in this case, without any second thought, what is, like, if I ask you, what is magnetic induction around this current carrying wire? So I can do, you can take your right hand thumb rule or right hand palm rule, whichever you feel comfortable, you go with that. And you try drawing this, uh, every point I can draw tangents, right? So like this, I can draw tangents. If I take my right hand palm rule, so this is your B. Your B is all around, okay? So at point P, we wish to find the magnetic induction due to this wire. And I use Ampere's law. By Ampere's law, and I take the closed path M, along which we have B dot dl. And this is nothing but what? Mu naught. And the surface yes. And the current I is intercepted by the surface yes. So therefore, and that current is I. So we will take the same current as I. So I have mu naught multiplied by I. Okay. So we can evaluate this left-hand side integration, and you would see, you would get B, and you have 2 pi r is equal to mu naught I. And now B is equal to mu naught I over 2 pi r. So we are very familiar with this equation. B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r. Designate this equation by 1. Now what I do, let me take a small modification for this. We will make save. I save it. Let me make a simple modification to that, to the earlier, in our earlier figure. We have a surface which is well defined. Now what we will do, we will take an inflated surface. Now this is stuck. So we have again a straight piece of conductor. So this conductor is carrying some current I again, okay? And you have a point P in the vicinity of the conductor, the white conductor you're seeing. Now this point P is at a distance R units from the white conductor you're seeing now. Now let me take an Amperian path like this. Let me take a path. This is a path. Okay, I don't say it is like Amperian path, but it's a path now. Now what we do in our initial case, now we will go to the figure. We will see that figure once. Okay. So you're seeing a figure here, right? Now from this, let me cut this figure out. So not like this. We don't cut this figure. I'll open this with paint. Let me select it. Copy it. Okay. Let me put it down here. You have the previous case. Now you just tell me the edges of the surface. I mean, the edge of the surface is the Amperian path M. Now the surface is just lying on a plane where you have this Amperian path M. But now we will take In a different situation, what we do, we will take a surface shape to be something like this. See, irrespective of the shape of the surface, Ampere's law must hold. So that is a well-known fact. So I will take a surface shape which is like a surface which is like a container, the shape of a container, a pot, you could say, or it's like you are inflating a balloon. Okay, so this is mouth of the balloon. So when you pump air in, you can see the balloon inflates, and it's just like that. So you have the surface something like this. Now what you would say is, now I can make my surface. So yeah, to give a feel that you have a surface. So this is a surface, not a volume, please, because the blue edge, what you're seeing, so from this end, you're seeing something like, I mean, this end is open here. So now this candidate, so this candidate is, I can say this is path M, and this is my surface. So this is my surface, yes. Okay. Now you tell me, what current is this surface S intercepting? Anyone? What current is the surface S intercepting now? Anyone? If you're speaking, see, I cannot hear you if you're speaking out. Please text me on chat box. What current is the surface S intercepting? See, we cannot give any pause in our discussion because we are running out of time. So please tell me. This surface, yes, in the right hand side, this surface, yes, is intercepting this current I. Now you tell me this, the surface, which is the shape of the container in this case, is intercepting what current? Yeah, that's great. Same current, right? So because it's a well-known fact that irrespective of the shape of the surface, Ampere's law should hold. That's it. So it's over and out. There is no second thought in that. So therefore, what do I do in this case is I just take, this is my pathium. Okay, the mouth of the balloon is like my pathium. I try to find my B dot dl along this pathium, and this is mu naught I, and there is no second thought again. This is because the same current is intercepted by the surface, yes. So therefore, I have again same stuff, B times 2 pi r is equal to mu naught I. So again, B is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r. Okay. Now life is, up to now, life is really good. So everything is, means there are no intricacies in our discussions as of now or in our analysis as of now. But what happens is that now we will see why there is a fallacy with Ampere's law. Okay, there is a fallacy or there is a flaw with Ampere's law, and that we'll see now. How Maxwell corrected that, and he added something to that. Yeah, and of course, and that's true for time varying fields, and that's what. Okay, which color I'm using now? Okay, white. No, I'm using black. I'll take white. So now what I do, I'll use my Ampere's law. Ampere's law and the surroundings. Ampere's law and the surroundings of a charging capacitor. So let me take a capacitor which is being charged. Okay, so so things becomes complicated or things becomes flaw when you consider. Let me take a capacitor plate, some plate. This is plate 2. Okay, this is plate 1 and plate 2. And if you connect this capacitor, means across the capacitor, we can say we have an AC voltage source. This is an AC voltage source. Yeah, alternating supply. Now what happens? I see, according to circuit theory fellow, he says, of course, the path is closed and hence there will be loop current in this. Yeah. But according to field theory guy, he says, wait a minute, whether there is current or not, we have to check. Because according to field theory, there is a new concept we are going to explore now, that is displacement current. Okay. Circuit theory doesn't know. Circuit theory engineer, he doesn't know what is this displacement current. And remember, this network theory is a special case of field theory. Okay. So anyways, the birth of KCL is not in circuit theory. The birth of KCL is it's with this continuity equation. That is divergence of J is minus dou rho V over dou T. So this is the equation behind conservation of charge at a node. That means no charge has to accumulate at a node. Charge has to free itself. Okay. So yeah, and the Ohm's law is because of this. J is equal to sigma E is the actual Ohm's law. And the concepts derived from this as a special case is what the Ohm's law you're seeing, like V equal to Ri or LdI by dt. Okay, so on, 1 by integration of I dt. So you have various forms of Ohm's law in circuit theory that you have investigated, I think. So we will see why this is a flaw in field theory. So you would think, well, the circuit is closed, so therefore there is a current I in this case. Yeah, and of course you're right. So there is a current I. There is a current I like this. And there is, if you observe carefully, there is a dielectric medium separating these two charged plates. So in which you have void of free electrons. You don't have any free electrons. So therefore, how can you say the path is closed now? Okay. So we can say a dielectric medium separating these two charged plates in which you have no free charged quantities. So yeah, so therefore, according to field theory fellow, there is something in this. Okay. But end of the day, whatever current you have at this end and this end, this current must remain same. The same current is going all the way around the circuit. Okay, the same current I. But there is a mystery between these two plates. Let's try to unlock that mystery. Okay. So that mystery we can unlock like this. Expecting that, already I think you're familiar with this, what you call displacement current density concept. I think in your +2 you have this in electromagnetics course. Now I just take only this portion of capacitor. Let me redraw this again. So I have a straight piece of a conductor. Okay. I don't take straight piece. Okay, let me draw like this. It's very difficult to draw straight. So this is, I'm just showing the edge of the capacitor, okay, edge of the capacitor plates. So this is plate 1, edge of plate 1. Okay, this is edge of the plate 2. So there is current I. So there is current I like this. And we expect again, same current is this way. Okay. Now the charge, so positive charge gets increased on this plate, okay? When the current is entering, the meaning is that it will deposit positive charge on the plate. The entry current will always deposit positive charge. So therefore I could say positive charge is increasing on one end of the plate. And in this case, what we can observe is that negative charge. So negative charge will be increasing on this plate because the leaving current will extract the charge. So hence you have charge buildup on the two plates. So we're not going to the physics details of this, expecting you know these things already. Okay. Now what you do? So let me take an Amperian path. We will take some point P and we will draw an Amperian path passing through this point P. So let's draw an Amperian path passing through point P. You try to understand this now. Now this is my path M. So this guy is my path M. Now say path M is on certain plane. Now on the same plane in which we have path M, we will consider our surface. Let me take the surface which is shown shaded like this. So this is my surface, yes. So this is my surface, yes, and has some area to it. Okay. Now, as usual, what we know is that this surface, yes, is intercepting the current I, the entry current I. So now along this path M, we will try to find, so we will try to see to that this magnetic induction is along the path M. So B dot dl, and the left hand side is possible because in the right hand side you must be having the current, enclosed current you could say, or intercepting current by the surface, yes. And this surface, yes, as of now it is on the plane containing the path M. Okay. Again, its life is simple. So the distance, say we have this point P at a distance of r units from the conductor. So with that clarity, we can take B 2 pi r is mu naught I. So B is equal to mu naught I over 2 pi r. So what's new in this? There is nothing new. So it's like we are revisiting the very known old equation. So B is equal to this, and this is what my equation number 1. So we have designated this as equation number 1. Now what we will do here is we will take case 2. We will take here case 2. Now, so we will take yeah. So case 2 is something like this. Now you take your same capacitor, you take your same capacitor, okay. Now say you have the same current entry. You have on the left side, you can see the current is entering all the way, and you could expect that the same current must exit from this end as well. Now again, we will consider a point P in the vicinity of my pink conductor. So let me draw a path. So let me take a path passing through this. So let me take a path passing through this point P. Same story again. Okay. So this is again my path M. So this is again my path M. Now this time we will not take surface which is resting along the path M. This time we will try to consider an inflated surface. Now you have a surface something like this. Mind this, this surface is not resting on a plane where you have path M. Okay, so this surface is just it is elsewhere like this. Let me redraw it. Okay, Now you tell me, so this surface, yes. I'm just showing a two-dimensional one to give a better feel. I cannot show you right away the three-dimensional view, but you assume that you have a two-dimensional view, okay? And also I cannot show any perspective view. So this is your surface, yes. So this is your surface, yes. Now you tell me, so what is the current intercepted by this surface, yes? Anyone? Who is going to answer this question? What current is this surface, yes, intercepting? Anyone?
Conduction currents.
If please don't speak out, please test me in turn. I'm using mic. Let me unplug my mic otherwise. I just unplugged my mic. Now you can speak out. What current is this surface, yes, intercepting now? Anyone? What current is this surface, yes, intercepting? Abhilash replied, he said like I. Anyone else? Yeah. Anyone else? What current is this surface, yes, intercepting now? Are you there? Ranganayakulu, roll number 2. Ranganayakulu, roll number 2. Are you there?
Sir, conduction currents.
How conduction current, how a surface, yes, can intercept conduction current here? How? You have a void. You have no conducting zone in between these two capacitor plates. Then in this situation, how the surface, yes, can intercept the conduction current? Where from? And Kishore Yadav is correct. So Kishore Yadav is saying that so Kishore Yadav, why 0, Kishore Yadav?
Sir,
Yeah, why 0?
by seeing that surface, actually current is not leaving, sir.
You forgot about leaving, entering, whatever. See, you are seeing a void. You are seeing a gap in between these two capacitor plates in which you have no conducting medium. So now there is a surface, yes, between these two, I mean capacitor plates. Now, how do you say it is 0? How do you say that this surface is intercepting no current? Yeah, of course, there is. Whatever question I asked you, there is answer in the question itself, right? I just gave you answer now. A question is an answer. See, there is no
There
conducting.
is a dielectric, sir.
Yeah, of course, there is no conducting path here. So when there is a surface, yes, passing through this a dielectric medium, so now we could say this surface, yes, is not intercepting any current. That is a mere common sense. There is no big deal in that. Okay. You can also go in terms of dipole moments. Okay. So all dipole moments will be almost just like that. Okay. So the negative and positive charges or negative and positive effects will not drift. They'll just stay like that. So dielectric medium, it feels very happy. See, unless there is electric pressure, dipole moments will remain same like that. Okay. Anyways, let's not go into that physical part again. So now there is no current, yes. So sorry, this surface, yes, can write like this. Surface, yes, is intercepting, no current. So surface, yes, is intercepting no current. Okay. So anyways, you have, let me show these things. You have positive charge when current is entering. So positive charge will be deposited, or this quantity will be increased. So in this case, you have the current flow will extract negative charge. So you have here positive Q. So this is positive Q and this is negative Q. Now what do you see as charge keep on increasing? Yeah, as charge keep on increasing, we could think like this. Now there exists electric field. Okay. Before I go to this, I would like to find, what I would like to find is magnetic induction. I would like to find magnetic induction. So let me, okay, let me take the same path M. See, the path M is open. This is not a closed surface, okay? So I'm just taking integration along the path M. So magnetic field along the path M. At every point along that path M, magnetic field must be a tangent, okay? So B dot dl is equal to mu naught. Yeah. Now what do I take here now? I'm taking along path M, but my intention is that whether or not current is intercepted by the surface, yes, the pink surface, yes. So no current is intercepted by by the surface, yes. So I take a pretty zero. So in the left hand side, you have the same stuff. You have, this is R units. So B 2 pi R is equal to 0. So B is equal to 0. So there is no magnetic field, or there is no magnetic induction between these two capacitor plates for now. Okay. Now there is a flaw. Now you just consider, you just compare equation number 1 with equation number 2. Irrespective of Amperian surface, I can take any shape for Amperian surface or Amperian path for that matter. Ampere's law must hold. So surface yes doesn't matter. I can take any surface yes. You can take any random shape. I must get same answer. But in this case, I got mu naught I over 2 pi r. But now, unfortunately, we have p equal to 0. So this is a flaw. So 1 and 2 are unequal. So therefore, we could say, let me remove this. It's a clear flaw. So 1 and 2 are unequal. So what we could say now is equation number 1 and equation number 2 are unequal. Hence inconsistent. Yeah, so this is unfortunate. So Ampere's was thinking he was good in all the situations, but Maxwell's identified this inconsistency. Yeah, and he corrected by including a term, that is displacement current. Now, again, you come to this figure. Now I have, see, slowly charges building up on the ends of these two plates. I'm just showing you one of the edges of the plates, the edge of the plates. I'm not showing its full plate dimensions. So now, see, a charge is slowly building up. That means charge is increasing slowly. So now you can see, what is this here? What are these green arrows I'm trying to show here?
Electric fields.
I'm just trying to show some green arrows between these two plates. What are these green arrows here?
Electric field, sir.
Displacement current, sir.
Anyone?
Electric field,
current,
sir.
I think you're speaking out, but I cannot hear you.
Displacement
Electric
current,
field
sir.
lines, great. So these are electric field lines. But now what you have to mind is that you have an AC source across capacitor plate. Okay, fine. initially you have no charge build up. Now, of course, whether you take DC or whatever, when you connect this source, the charge slowly builds up, and now you could see electric field between these two charged plates. And now this electric field is varying with time because charge is also varying with time. When charge is varying with time, the rate of change of charge will give you current, right? Okay, as charge is changing with time, so also electric field. So electric field also varies with time. Now you tell me this electric field which is varying with time, this will account. So this will account to make this 1 and 2 consistent. So in equation number 1, we have B is equal to mu naught I over 2 pi r. In equation number 2, we have B is equal to 0. It's a clear flaw. Now, who is going to fill this gap, or who is going to make this consistent? And he is Mr. Electric Field. I must take this into account to make equation 1 and 2 consistent. Yeah. So how do I do that? Anyone? Any guesses, please? How do we account time varying electric field to make equations number 1 and 2 consistent? Okay, so someone is trying to help me out. So let me take electric field. So electric field between the plates. So any fringing effects we will reject now. Fringing effects will be prominent at high frequency sources. Okay, at low frequency sources, fringing effects they won't turn up that easily. Okay, and that leads to, of course, radiation. More the fringing effects, you have radiation effects again. So the purpose of storage will violate. So electric field between the plates is given by, say it's given by, let me take another color. Say E is equal to Q over A epsilon naught. So charge, you have on the right hand side, you have charge on the numerator. Okay, so this charge keep on vary, of course, and you have area of the plate. See, I'm just taking, so we just took only one of the edges of the plate. So actually you have plate like this, and whose area is say A. Say whose area is A. All right. So E is equal to Q over A epsilon naught. Now what is required? Now we can say like this, due to this electric field, we can say that important one is this, we can say that electric flux is passing through surface. Yes, agree? The pink surface you're seeing all the way here. So due to this electric field, which is changing in time, you could see the change in electric flux, or electric flux is passing through surface. Yes. Now what I can say now here is, again I will take, okay, I'll go for next one. T3. So let me copy this figure. So I'm copying the same figure now. Okay, I have the same figure here. Remove this. Now what I can say, electric flux. So because of electric field, you have electric flux passing through this surface, okay? Passing through this surface, yes. So electric flux intercepting. Electric flux intercepting the surface, yes. This, yeah, what is that? So I take electric flux psi is equal to, I have E multiplied by area of the plates, okay, is, see, we are considering the area of the plates being same. We have a couple of plates, both areas are same. Now, what I can see now, between the electrical plate, so between the capacitor plates, what we have, we will assume electric field is uniform. So between this, electric field is uniform, okay? So bearing this in mind, so psi is equal to, if this is uniform, I know I have Q over A epsilon naught multiplied by A. Just plug in that E in this, and you have psi is equal to Q over epsilon naught. Okay. Now, as this guy is changing, electric field is changing with time, so therefore flux also will change in time. So d psi over dt. So if I do this on left hand side, plus 2 on right hand side as well. So dq over dt epsilon naught. So d psi over dt, the time rate of change of flux is, on the right hand side you have current I multiplied by 1 over epsilon naught. Yeah, say you are like in a homogeneous medium, so therefore I can happily bring this epsilon naught towards left hand side. Okay, see, if you're dealing with inhomogeneous medium, you can't take your epsilon naught, I mean, means wherever you want, towards left, right, it's impossible, you can't take that. So therefore I is equal to, we would say, epsilon naught d psi by dt. See, so between the plates, I can approximate current I. Now this current I is due to this time varying electric field. Yeah, because of electric field, you have electric flux passing to surface, and if that electric flux is changing with time, and that develops current, yes or not? So therefore we have to account electric field to make that inconsistency a consistency. So you can write down like this. So the current corresponding, I'm just following Richard Feynman's, so I'm just following volume 3 Richard Feynman. So if you feel this is, you know, if it is, I mean, if you're not comfortable with this convention, you can also go with your Sadhguru's convention. Sadhguru convention is a bit easy, but Feynman's convention is pretty physical and descriptive. The current corresponding to the rate, rate of change of flux through the surface, yes. Through the surface, yes, is which current here? So this beautiful obtained current I is equal to this. Yeah. And this current, you would call it as displacement current. Displacement current. Yeah. So now, to give a better feel again, if you want to cover every nuance of this, obtained equation, let's take a further step. Let's say you have so as of now we have I is equal to epsilon d psi over dt. Okay, now I know psi is equal to this electric flux psi is equal to what here? E A. I know my electric field is varying with time because charge increases or decreases. So because of that, I could see electric field increase or decrease. Otherwise, electric field must change in time. So psi is equal to E. You plug in this. If you plug in this, so you get d psi, it is dE over dt. So dE over dt, you have A. So you bring this guy towards left hand side, you have I over A is equal to epsilon dE by dt. So we are dealing a homogeneous medium. So I can take this epsilon naught here. So therefore you have d epsilon naught E by dt. And in homogeneous medium, we can account epsilon naught E as electric displacement vector, so electric flux density for that matter. And this is current over area. This is current density, and I give a subscript D. So this is JD, and now this is, let me make it dou D by dou T. That means Maxwell, he came forward and he just added this extra term. Okay, so okay, dou D over dou T. So JD is equal to dou D over dou T. That's it. It's as simple as this, right? So now we will make it consistent. That means whatever equation you have. So we have Ampere's law in magnetostatics. That is, you have curl of H is equal to J. Okay, and it's a clear flow for if you go for time varying situations. So curl of H is equal to J. So therefore, now we understood that deliberately Maxwell added this extra term, that is JD, to keep this equation consistent. Okay, now you can happily work with DC, AC, high frequency, low frequency, anything. Yeah, and as long as this equation holds, propagation will exist. That's it. So today, whatever propagation you're seeing, radio wave propagation, it's all because of this displacement current. Yeah. So without the concept of displacement current, you have no propagation. For example, you have sun like this. Yeah. And you have our planet Earth. Yeah. See, the sun rays, like EM waves, the sun waves are nothing but EM waves, the radiation. The EM waves, they keep travel through the medium, the space, it keeps travel through some space, then followed by ionosphere, some certain layers, and then it enters into atmosphere, our atmosphere. Now it keep travel like that. Now it takes around 8 minutes, 20 seconds to reach Earth, right? See, there is no conductor connecting our sun and Earth. Yeah, yes or not? So otherwise, without any conductor being connected between these two objects, still you have energy conveyed from one point to other point. Yeah, and what you treat now, you would treat a displacement current or something, it's all up to your illusion. Okay, but one thing you have to understand is that this JD led us understanding the propagation behavior between or within a medium of interest. So this is a very important note. Okay, so and without much ado, we will also do this. That is, let's try to knuckle down this equation of continuity, or we would say current continuity equation. So what is this current continuity equation? Uh, yeah. So let's make this current continuity equation. In general physics, what you have is you have something like equation of continuity. Yeah, even mechanical people, they enjoy this concept, equation of continuity, but they don't enjoy this current, they enjoy the fluid. Okay, so fluid continuity equation, mechanical engineers, they solve it, but we solve with current. So replace fluid by current, you have this. Now, that is a simple uh, analysis. You see, for example, you have some volume. Let's take some volume of interest. Have some volume like this. So volume means everything must be closed. Now, within this volume, take some elemental volume. Let us take some elemental volume within this. And say there is some charge here now. So there is some charge within this elemental green volume. Okay. Now, after delta t time, after some time, you found that some current is leaving out. You found some current is leaving out like this. Okay. So this current I is passing through the surfaces all around the elemental volume. Okay. Now, in that case, if the white charge you are seeing right within this elemental green volume, now you can assume the white charge as a positive charge. Okay. So in the direction of current, you would assume that the charge also has to go. That means after delta t time, I must find this. What I must find? Let me cut this. Let me copy this figure. So after delta t time, so I would see so I would see like this. Just a minute. So I would see current. Which color let me take white. Let me take green again. Okay. Now when current is going out, you will see the charge is not decreasing. You're seeing, you're seeing high density of charge within the volume. Now as current is leaving out, you would see now there is hardly any charge, or we could see the charge is decreasing within the elemental volume. Okay. Now this charge could be positive charge, or conversely, we can say that negative charge will increase within the volume. Okay. From the surroundings, negative charge will be pumped into this volume, or the positive charge must decrease out of this volume. So therefore, what we could say is this. So we could say divergence of J is equal to minus dou rho V over dou. This negative sign indicates that when current is leaving out, the charge must get decreased. And see, because by convention, we are taking a positive charge, okay? Conversely, you can also take negative charge. So negative charge must increase in the volume. So therefore, let me write down a statement for this. The total current.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, sir. Actually, because of net connection is like that.
The total
I'm in college, sir.
current
Okay.
flowing out of
Yes,
some volume
Yes, no, sir.
is
We have
equal
not come to college. Actually,
to
now
the
I'm in college, working in Gizmo University.
is
That is the
equal
reason.
to the rate of
On that day, I will
decrease
stay
of
home and I will do.
charge within that volume.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, sir.
Now, what you have to keep focus on this is that you see the total current flowing out, we are saying the total current flowing out. But what if we say the total current flowing in? Anyone? From the outside peripherals, if you see that total current is entering into the volume, then what about the charge, the positive charge? Yeah, I just plugged out my mic. You can speak out. Of course. When current is entering, the positive charge gets deposited, or the positive charge quantity must increase within that elemental volume. Okay? If positive charge is increasing within that elemental volume, you would understand that negative charge is leaving out. Strictly speaking, there is no positive charge. It's only a reference frame. You have only negative charge involved because your nucleus,
Yes, madam.
it never tend to move. Okay, you need lots of electrical pressure to make your nucleus to move from one position to other position. It's all the matter of movement of the free electrons only. All right. So therefore, now I just write down like this. From the principle of conservation of charge. So divergence of J is equal to minus dou rho V by dou T. That is what conservation of charge. Okay. That from the principle of conservation of charge, the current, whatever current is leaving out now, the current can be equated time rate of decrease of charge within that volume. Similarly, if a net current flows into the region, you know very well the charge in the volume must increase at a rate equal to the current. Therefore, we can write this current now through closed surface. See, because it's a closed surface, so current through closed surface, any current you're taking, this is a closed surface now. So I can write down like this. So this is some surface. This is, see, you have a volume like this. This volume is bounded by closed surface, yes. So I can take closed surface, yes. J dot ds. Okay, so the outward flow of positive charge, whatever, must be balanced by increase of positive charge. So within the closed surface. So if the charge see the charge inside this closed surface is, say, what way do I take now? Let me take it here. If this charge inside the closed surface, the white charge, what you're seeing, denoted by this, say some Q. Now I would say, now charge is decreasing here. So with time, charge is decreasing. So let me take minus dq by dt. Okay. Now the principle of conservation of charge requires this. So I is equal to, because the rate of decrease of charge leads to current flow out. So therefore I is equal to, see, in this case, capital Q is equal to positive charge. So this capital Q is not negative charge now. So J dot ds. See, otherwise you could say negative charge is increasing, positive charge is decreasing. So I is equal to this. I have negative sign here. Okay. So I can relate like this. So this is now in the integral form. So slowly we'll convert this to point form or differential form as follows. So this is in the integral form. Okay. If you want this in point form, you have to give a phone call to whom? Just go to divergence theorem. Just give a call to divergence theorem and he will take care of this. I want to convert integral form to point form. So J dot ds, you have volume integration. According to divergence theorem, I have divergence of J dV. Okay. Now, now I can say this volume integration divergence of J dV is equal to, I have here, I have C, because this one is nothing but this one. So this one I'm writing down like this because I have this one dt. So therefore minus d by dt. So what is total charge in the volume? Integration of volume charge density over that volume. Now, if you are agreeing, if you agree the outside closed surface, if you make it constant, then I can bring this d by dt inside this integration that becomes partial derivative. So see, you need certain permission to take a total derivative as an integrand, because in this case surface, I must maintain my surface constant. So with this clarity, what I do, let me take my dou rho v by dou t dv. Okay, so volume integration, you have dv, you have dv. So divergence of j must be equal to minus dou rho v by dou t. So this expression must be true for any volume. You can take any volume or any closed surface, however small or big, doesn't matter. You must get same answer. Divergence of j is equal to minus dou rho by dou t. Are we clear so far? Are we clear
Yes,
so
sir.
far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.